Okay, so welcome to Morning Flow. Thanks for joining us. Let's just start out seated today. I have blocks here. If you own blocks, you could have them handy. I won't do anything that you have to have them for, but it might throw in some nice to have, some options there.
I do.
Find the grounding in your seat. Find the length of your spine, or tune into the length of your spine. Think of the crown of your head reaching up. Rest your hands wherever it's comfortable for you. And if you like, close your eyes. Focus on your breath, letting your breath slow down and get deeper just by paying attention to it. I was just asked to speak up for the folks here. So folks at home, if I get too loud, you have your own volume control. He's got no way to turn me up other than go like this. So if you want, close your eyes. Noticing your breath will get deeper. Just the shift of focus and taking the time is really all it takes. No special tricks. Sometimes we do more specific breathing exercises. Sometimes it's just nice to just let it slow down. Closing your eyes can help. Becoming still can help. Noticing can help. Feel the movements of your breathing, the way these movements are feeling, where you're feeling them, where you feel each inhale and each exhale. Maybe shifting in your seat as comfort shifts. Comfortable can be a moving target. Reposition as needed to remain comfortable. Not about remaining stock still. We're not trying to be statues here. Scan your body head to toe and notice everything that's going on in your body. Maybe notice if your mouth needs to slow down so you don't trip over your tongue, Leo. Just see whatever sensations are present for you, especially making note of anything that's out of whack. Any stiffness, any soreness, anything you maybe wish felt different. Making a note of it so you can keep it in mind. Exercising your freedom to skip or modify any portion of what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be offering to you. Consider everything a suggestion. It's all optional but the breathing. Whenever your attention wanders, gently bring it back to your breath, back to this noticing stance. And maybe something I've said or something you've noticed going on in your body will suggest a personal intention for you and your practice today. Something else you can come back to as a reminder, as a point of focus. If that's your jam, if that's something you like to do, let that intention kind of solidify and sink in. And with our intentions in place before we begin moving, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sigh. Bring your hands out to your sides. Rest your fingertips on the ground, staying tall. Inhaling, lift your left arm up alongside your ear. Exhale, reach across to the right. Feel for length from your left hip up through those left fingertips. Keep the hand engaged, to keep the arm engaged, to keep all the side body engaged. So letting gravity do its thing, but we're also extending, extending, extending. Inhale to come upright. As you exhale, bring your left hand down behind you. Right hand to your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up, maybe press your left hand into the ground. Exhale, invite your body to twist some more. Explore working your way up from the waist and see with each exhale if maybe there's room to go a little further. Let yourself unwind, come back through the center. Inhaling, raise your right arm. Exhaling, reach across to the left, lean into that left hand. Feel for the lengthening all up and down the right side. Inhale to come up. As you exhale, come into that twist on the other side. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, see about twisting some more. Let yourself unwind, come back to center. Let's go ahead and come up onto our hands and knees. Take your time getting there. Whatever transition works for you. Let your hands open way up. Feel the whole palm on the ground. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Bring your hips over your knees. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up. Let your head and tailbone come down. Just follow this in your breath. We have to go at the same pace. As I put my earbud back in, reminded me as I'm managing equipment and people remote and people in person, if anyone on screen here ever has trouble hearing me, you can unmute and speak up and let me know. One thing that's funny about wearing earbuds while you do this is that they're insulating the sound of my own voice. So it's hard to tell how loud I am. I guess I'm loud enough. He's over there making a joke about what I said, so he's hearing me. Come back to table. Reach back, press into the ball of your left foot. Take a couple breaths, push your heel away from your tailbone. With an inhale, pick your foot up, reach straight back. With your next inhale, reach your right arm out to the side, palm down. And maybe if you want to go further, bend that leg, reach back, see about taking a bind. Can you grab your foot or your ankle? If you can, kick against your hand, raise your knee, raise your head. If you're in the bind, release and let your knee and your hand down. Reach back, press into the ball of your right foot and take a couple breaths. With an inhale, pick your foot up and reach straight back. Take a couple breaths like that. And with the next inhale, reach your left arm out to the side. Maybe bend your leg, reach back, see about that bind. Additional stretching for the shoulder and the quads. Opening the midline, frontal midline. Release and lower down. Let's start to stand into a forward fold. Step your left foot forward. It's okay if it takes more than one step, or if your hand needs to help your leg. Step the other foot forward, hang out, head and arms heavy, sway back and forth, and bend and straighten your legs as much or as little as you like. No locked knees. Maybe big movements, maybe little movements. Nice and slowly, nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Inhale to lift up halfway, press your hands to the front of your legs and nudge, push. Feel for the crown of your head reaching forward away from your tailbone. Exhaling, relax down into your fold. Inhale, roll up to standing, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let your hands down at your sides. Lift your left shoulder towards your ear. Slide it back and let it down. And then your right shoulder up and back and down. The cracking sound's optional. Maybe you get that, maybe you don't. Inhale, reach straight out to the sides. Exhaling, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself, or come to eagle arms if you like. Intertwine your arms. If you're an eagle, you want to reach your elbows and hands up and out, opening the space between the shoulder blades even further. I swear I only had one coffee at like 5 o'clock. I don't know why I'm tripping over my tongue so much. Inhale, open up. It's not time for second breakfast yet. Exhale, cross your arms the other way. Grab your shoulder blades or take eagle. I figured right when this class is over would be perfect time for second breakfast, 4 hours after my first. What, you don't eat like a hobbit and have 2 breakfasts? Inhale, open up. Exhale, twist the left. Take a full breath or 2 in the twist. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale to twist to your right. Inhale, come back. Exhale, let your arms down. Inhale, out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Now undo them and interlace them the other way. Flip your palms up and look up at you, lift up your heart. Why do I ask you to release your hands and interlace them the other way? Neuroplasticity makes your brain a little more agile. We've all got an automatic way we clasp our hands, an intuitive way. Doing it the other way is a little mental exercise. Inhale, come upright. How long is it gonna do? Exhale, bend to the right. Feel the leg through both arms. The best is when I'm in down dog and I'm talking on and people are like, I'm dying, will you let me out of down dog? Inhale up to center, exhale, bend to the left. And today we're gonna explore variations in down dog, so you might have those moments. When you get there, if I'm in down dog too long, you can always go to child's pose and come back. Inhale up to center, exhale, let your arms down. So start into some sun salutations, and on the down dogs, we're gonna explore some variations, different things you can do in down dog. Take a sip of my water before we go on. It's humid here today. It's kind of overcast. It's Chubasco season, hurricane season, maybe rain Sunday, says Kristen. Normal August. My second August. It's good for the skin. All kinds of factoids this morning. Okay.
After having been dried out all summer,
yeah, sure. After being dried out all summer, we get some humidity. So coming to the top of your mat, inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Make your way to a plank. I like to take a few breaths in the first one. Let the hips come down in line with your shoulders and heels. If you opt for a shorter plank, you can let your knees down. Hips come down in line with shoulders and knees. You can take the shorter plank anytime you like. On an exhale, lower down. Keeping your elbows in, go as slow as you can, but don't stop breathing. Let everything down for this first one. Even untuck the toes and rest the chin. Boy, the grass is fragrant. They mowed the lawn. Press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest. Maybe just a low cobra. Listen to your low back. Go as high as you want. They're all heart openers. And for the first down dog, to go from here to the down dog, you might pass through table. Take your time. Make your way back and up to your down dog. And like we do in the first one, pedal your feet up and down. So first variation here, kick this block out of the way so I'm not blocking your view. I realized my blocks were standing up kind of high.
So I pedal my feet up and down. Sometimes I go even further and I'll roll onto the tops of my toes. Gets a different stretch into the feet and the legs to go even further. So you might play with that. I wouldn't call that walking your dog. Your dog's gonna look at you funny, you walk like that. But anyway, that's a long time in down dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. In all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, come down. Make your way to your plank. When you're ready, lower maybe just halfway this time. Drop your knees if you want. Inhale to bring your heart forward. Exhale, back and up. So now we're going to explore something. I'm going to actually turn my back to you just so you can see my feet better for this one. Inhale, raise your right leg up. As you exhale, lower your leg and cross your ankles. So lift the left heel and send the right heel down. And this is a nice stretch in the IT band, the outer right hip here. Great if you cycle a lot. So then slowly inhaling, start to send the left heel down and raise the right leg again. And exhale, lower. And we'll just go ahead and do the other side. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhaling, lower it, cross the ankles, bring the pinky toes near each other. Lift the right heel, send the left heel down. Inhaling slowly, send the right heel down, raise the left leg. Look forward, exhale, come forward. Why is he backwards? Don't mind me. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. I'll keep changing up the angle of view. Variety is nice. Inhale up. And exhale, down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, down. Plant your hands, step back to plank. And for a different variation on down dog, we're gonna do something different from here. You'll see why in a second. Lower all the way down like we did on the first one. And so here we're gonna explore an option with down dog that you might use if you find you don't quite have the flexibility in your wrists to be in down dog for an extended period. A lot of people think, oh, my wrists aren't strong enough. It's not so much the strength as it is the flexibility. It takes time to develop, and it's hard to differentiate sometimes which is lacking. But what we're gonna explore is doing down dog not on the hands, but on the forearms. So you can bring your hands like this, elbows out, sort of in a V in front of you, like a dolphin plank. So let's go to dolphin plank so you can curl your toes under. Maybe this is the angle I want. Curl your toes under, press into your feet, come up to like a forearm plank. And then from here, exhale, press into your elbows and your feet. And you might adjust where your feet are. I'm gonna step forward so I can raise my tailbone some more. So it's a very different feeling in the upper body, and you might find it changes the extension in the legs and feet too. So it's a different kind of effort, and it spares that pressure on the wrist. My stretching difference, so I do. Now, the tricky thing about this, you can't just step your feet forward here and come to a forward fold. I haven't seen it done anyway, and I'm not gonna try it. Let your knees down. And then plant your hands, and then just step to a forward fold. Haven't figured out a forearm chaturanga. I don't think that can be done. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Another sip of water for me. You take a drink whenever you need to. Oh, now I botched it, adjusting my headphones. I'm just gonna leave them like that. So down dog is No doubt it's work. There's effort involved in being in down dog. Over time with practice, it can be a resting pose. Now, some parts are working, but it's very restful for your lower back to be in down dog. Might sound crazy if you haven't been at it as long, but those of you who've been at it a long time, you know what I mean. Maybe you're like me and you can talk way too long in down dog and drive people crazy sometimes. We'll continue to explore it a bit. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Plant your hands, make your way to plank. If your arms are fatigued, you can go right from your plank to down dog. That's one way to conserve some energy. Otherwise, exhale, lower halfway. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, back and up. Explore some stuff with the three-legged dog, we call it. Inhale, raise your right leg. And there's a couple different ways we stack the hips here. So one way is to keep the leg long, peel the right hip above the left hip and look under your right arm. Square your hip down, lower your leg. Inhale, raise the left leg, peel the hip up, stack the hips, look under your left arm. So picture the left hip right above the right hip. Maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. It's helpful to picture it harnessing the power of your mirror neurons. Square your hip down and lower your leg. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. I don't feel like hopping today, but maybe you do. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. And we'll go through, we're gonna stack our hips, we're gonna do it differently and throw in another option too. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale halfway up and exhale down. Plant your hands and make your way to your plank. Either go right to your down dog or chaturanga down. Inhale to open your heart. Exhale back and up. So this time, starting out the same way, inhale, raise the right leg, but then bend your knee and then stack your hips. That feels different. Now, a couple things we could do here. You might flex your foot, make a couple circles with your knee in each direction. Or if you're jam and you like to, you might flip your dog. What is that? I'm gonna lean to the left, let my right foot drop, my right hand come up, and my hips lift towards the sky. We call that flip dog. It's got a really long name in Sanskrit, and the translation is roughly like the ecstatic unfolding of the jubilant heart. It's a beautiful name that I can't quite remember. Kind of reductionist to call it flip dog or wild thing or rock star, but oh well. I'm reductionist, I guess. If you flip, gently flip back. That was a long time there. And square your hip down and lower your leg. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, come forward. This time I'm gonna come out before we do the other side because of how long we spent there. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, straight up through center, just to mix it up. Exhale, swan dive down, just to mix it up. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, down. Plant your hands, make your way to your plank. Either chaturanga down and open your heart, or go right to your down dog. Exhale, back and up when you're ready. And we'll do all that again. Inhale, raise the left leg, bend your knee, and stack your hips. Your choice. Flex your foot and circle your knee, or unfold your ecstatic heart. If you have opted to reach for the sky, come on back. Soft landings. Square your hip down, lower your leg. Let's have a little break. Let your knees down and take child's pose for a minute while I take a long drink. Whatever version of child's pose works for you. Notice your breathing. Maybe do a body scan again. Maybe check in with your intention. The boss is asking me if I'm okay in the sun. It was cloudy when I started. I am sweating. I have sunglasses on. I am okay. Teaching in a hot studio in Boston was good training for this. We would set the room we'd crank the room up to 104 degrees and run a big humidifier in the back, and then do 90 minutes where like the most break you would get is maybe 12 seconds in a child's pose. So yes, I'm fine. But thanks for checking. It's very nice. I'm glad I'm not wearing a black shirt with the sun hitting me. When you're ready, inhale, come back up through table. And take your time to make your way back up to downward facing dog. And let's explore some more things we can do from here. Not so much a down dog variation. Well, let's do one more actually. I just remembered one I wanted to do. So from here, you're gonna shift the weight so there's more weight in your left hand, gradually taking the weight out of your right hand. Reach your right hand back towards your left leg. Any part of your left leg you can. So aim for the lowest part of your leg you can. Maybe that's your thigh, maybe it's your knee. I got my shin here. I know I'm not gonna reach my ankle or my foot, but sometimes I do, or some people do. Just breathe into that. That's a different feeling. Bring that hand back. Big clearing breath. Shift weight into right hand and take your time. Reach the left hand back towards the right leg and just see how far down the leg you might connect. Take a couple breaths. That's a special kind of work in the right shoulder, isn't it? Bring the left hand back. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, up. Meet me in down dog. Exhale, down. Skip anything you want on the way there. Inhale, come halfway up. Let's just say I'm sensing some fatigue. Exhale, down. Make your way to plank. If you're doing that. We're all meeting down dog soon. You don't want to do the whole sequence. That's fine. We always have options. Inhale, raise the right leg. We're not stacking the hips again. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your right elbow. Take a breath. If it doesn't touch, it's okay. That's why I said towards. Inhale, reach up again. Exhale, draw your right knee towards your left elbow. Take a breath. Inhale, reach up. Moving on, exhale, draw your knee towards your chest. Now send your foot over to the left side. Rest the pinky toe edge of your foot on the ground. Star pose. And if you want, you can go further here to fallen star. You bring your left hand in towards your heart, on up towards the sky. It's another jubilant sort of pose, huh? I don't know the Sanskrit. Over the years, a lot of the Sanskrit has fallen onto my head. If the arm's raised, bring it back down, ground into it. Draw your knee to center, reach your leg up high. Exhale, lower your leg. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, draw your knee towards your left elbow and take a breath. Inhale, reach your leg up. Exhaling, draw your knee towards your right elbow and take a breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhaling, draw your knee towards your chest. Send the left foot over to the right side. Rest the pinky edge of your foot on the ground. And if you want to go further, bring your right hand in towards your heart, on up towards the sky. I'm glad I don't have long hair. She's over here pulling her hair out of her face. That's a different complication. Exhale, bring your hand down, if it's raised. Draw your knee to center. Reach your leg up high. Exhale, lower your leg. Let's do something different now. Walk your hands back to your feet. All right, I'm declaring enough with the down dog for today. And there's much rejoicing, I bet. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, down. Soft knees, heavy arms. Let your arms start to swing front to back. Let your knees be bouncy. Let the weight of your arms pick up momentum. And when you're ready, let your arms swing up overhead, sit back to chair. Utkatasana, that one I remember. Releasing down into the ground. Spine nice and long, feet grounded. Hands reaching up, but shoulders relaxing down away from the ears a bit. Just think of releasing. Make sure you're breathing. Sometimes we hold our breath. It doesn't help with anything. Inhale, slowly stand. Exhale, let your hands down. Don't mind the sudden PA announcement from the school next door. Didn't even know anything's going on at the school. Okay, let's come into chair pose again. A little something about chair pose that I found very helpful. My Alexander technique teacher had taught us that the key to coming into chair pose is starting at the hip sockets. It's one way to come into it. Maybe you like this, maybe you don't, maybe you heard it before, maybe you didn't. You can find your hip sockets, they're right here on either side of your pubic bone. And if you press your thumbs into the sockets, that starts the action of sitting back and down. And there's a similar release in the knees. So it's the front of the hips, the backs of the knees. Touching your ankles doesn't produce any sensation. Don't bother trying. I tried for you. So then you can find your seat, and maybe it's lower than it was before. And then you can inhale, swing the arms up, let the shoulders melt down a bit. Now let's explore some variation here. We haven't twisted much today. Bring your hands together at your heart. Keep them centered on your chest. Now, check out your knees, probably lined up with each other. You want to keep the knees lined up with each other and keep your hands centered on your chest. Exhaling, twist to the right any amount you can without losing that alignment. So maybe your elbow comes outside your knee, but don't obsess about that and sacrifice the alignment to get there. If it happens, maybe you open your arms and spread your wings like this because it feels really good. But if you can't get there, don't worry about it. You're still doing a nice twist. If your arms are open, bring your hands back together. Slowly with control. Inhale back through center. Slowly is a relative term. Exhale, twist to the left. Knees lined up, hands centered on the chest. If the elbow comes outside the knee and you want to, you might open your arms. Give your lungs some more room to fill. If arms are open, bring hands back in. Inhale back to center. Big exhale, fold. Let's take another of those. Inhale, roll to standing, hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. I'm going to pause for a sip of water. And we'll play with some balancing. Because unless it's the gentle class, I kind of always like to play with some balancing. Hard to call something gentle when you start standing on one leg, right? So we'll play with tree pose because I don't think I could teach an outdoor class without doing tree pose. Right? There's so many trees. It would seem rude, right? Bring your hands to your heart. Can you be rude to a tree? Sure. Shift your weight from one leg to the other. Now this might be tricky outside. You want to set your eyes on something at eye level that's not going to move. So don't pick the pedestrian, don't pick the car driving by, don't pick the hummingbird. Something that's not going to move. I'm going to pick a street sign over there at the corner of I don't know what. When you're ready, bring the weight into your right leg. Let that knee stay soft and bouncy. Pick your left knee up. And think of opening a gate and bring your knee out to the side. So your feet are sort of perpendicular. And then you're going to bring your foot to your leg. So options, I love options. Might be toes on the ground, heel on the ankle. Might be the sole of your foot on your calf. Please never on your knee. You don't want to press your knee that way. Maybe on your thigh. You can put your foot down and pick it up anytime. Your hands might stay here, or the branches of your tree can grow into whatever shape you want. And maybe there's breeze in your branches. If you close your eyes, it gets windy. You do whatever you want with your hands and your arms. Endless variety of trees in the world, or even in the park. All right, maybe not endless in the park. Well, when yoga's here, it's endless. My tree's changing every breath, every second. And if you start to look at another tree, you'll fall quicker. If your hands are elsewhere, bring them back to your heart. Bring your knee forward, let your foot down, shake out your leg, never sit gracefully. Take anything you want. Maybe you do a little dance. Sometimes I like to shake my face, partly just to make that sound. These two are making jokes I can't hear because of the headphones. I'll catch up later. Hands at your heart. Shift your weight from one leg to the other. Feet on the ground, resetting the hips, regrounding the feet, reset your gaze if needed. Easy to get distracted, you practice outside. Somebody tooling by an electric bike. What's that sound? Drop the weight into your left leg when you're ready. Raise your right knee. Open gate of the hip. Bring your foot to your leg. Take whatever arm expression you like. It's fun to play with. I like it playing with different expressions. I like playing with binds. The binds feel really good in my back. So I do this particular one. Oh, watch. Now that I turned around, I won't be able to do it again. There we go. I do this one because it feels really good in my back. I'll just keep my leg here. Other options, some days you might do a bind like that. You might do reverse prayer. It's kind of challenging. When I get there, it feels really good. It's quite a stretch for the wrist. It's probably not a very good reverse prayer. It's the closest I can get today. On a day when more flexible, I might have the palms together. Come out as you're ready. Shake as needed. Maybe we were in that one a little longer than the other side. We'll play with one more balance. For this one, I'll bring in these blocks I brought. Now, you don't have to have blocks, never fear. If you have blocks, blocks can be a great support for Warrior 3, where we extend the leg and open the frontal hip. So one way to come into it is with your blocks on the ground, standing up, shoulder width apart. Just sort of like a box shape that you're in. And then you can lean your weight into one leg, raise the other, picture it coming parallel to the ground. Now, if you don't have blocks, the other way I like to come in is to come to a high lunge and just press off the back foot and bounce forward. And when you tip far enough to do so, body comes parallel to the ground. So if you've got the blocks, you might just keep your hands on them. Maybe that feels best. You might play around with maybe just one hand, and gradually you get to the point where you don't need to have your hands on them, but they're always there to chin with, and that can feel nice. You can also set up next to a wall and bring your hand to the wall, or use a water bottle. I guess depends on the bottle. That's from Kristen over here. And your hands can stay at your heart or reach back by your hips or out to the side or out in front of you. Exhale, lower your leg. Inhale, stand. And shake things out. Something about shaking. Feels good, especially if that one leg did so much work. It's nice to shake it out. So when you're ready, we'll come into the other one, whether you're coming from lunge or blocks. I'll give myself a little break and go with the gentler way. Use the blocks here. When you're ready, drop the weight into the other leg and raise your leg. Picture yourself parallel to the ground. Make sure you're breathing. Let the knee and the standing leg be soft. You don't want a locked knee. And it be bouncy because your weight's you're gonna wobble, you're gonna shake because you're human. And a bouncy knee is steadier. Again, we're not trying to be statues. When you've had enough, maybe you already did, exhale, lower your leg. Inhale, stand. Shake it out. Now let's have a seat. I don't need these now. Whew. What's that?
You okay?
Sure. She's asking me if I'm okay in the sun again. Sweating is good for the body, up to a point. I'm well hydrated, I am nourished, I'm loved and cared for, and I'm good. I go in the pool right when I get home. Extend your legs out in front of you. Flex your feet back towards you. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold down over your legs. If your knees want to bend, just let them bend. Inhale, think of the crown of your head reaching forward. Exhale, think of lowering some more. Inhaling, walk your legs and sit yourself up. To wherever they can, my bed in my way. And keep letting your arms help your legs. And your left leg, and you'll look over to your right thigh or right knee. Now, a lot of people find this doesn't feel good, this leg hanging out here, that you could slide a book under there if that's you. It doesn't feel good, or a pillow, folded blanket, whatever you got. Water bottle. Pivot your chest, aim your sternum at your right foot, and fix your right foot back towards you. Your arms up overhead, and exhale, hold over that leg. And again, on the inhale, think of the crown of your head. I'm going to check with technology. Well, the earbuds just said to me, call ended.
Oh, push on again and let it reconnect.
Hello? I don't hear anything.
Okay, hold on.
They may be muted at the other end too.
I think it disconnected is what it was telling me.
But did you put the thing back on?
Yeah.
And then it didn't say it was connected?
It didn't say the device name. It started to. It said connected, but it didn't say connected to.
Okay.
If you can hear me, can you?
Put your thumbs up.
That's because the polarized lenses.
Oh my goodness. If you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. Yes, okay, they can hear me. Thank you.
Okay, move that on the other side.
Excuse our technology.
No. Right.
These things happen.
The sun is coming up.
Yeah, things happen.
That's hot.
So let's fit this down on the other side. Bend the leg, bring the foot across, pivot your chest, flex your foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Back to your regularly scheduled yoga programming. Inhale, think of the crown of the head coming forward. Exhale, think of lowering. This is all just part of the practice. Bluetooth, earbuds, tablets, tripods. Sometimes things happen. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Let your arms help your legs. Extend that right leg out. Start to bend towards each other and bring the soles of your feet together. Have your feet far away from you. Big distance here between pelvis and heels. If there's room to, slide your hands under your ankles and grab the floor. If that doesn't work for you, it might not. You put your hands over your ankles and grab the floor. And then just walk your hands forward. So you're going to use traction in your arms to come down into this prayer shape. And make sure to let your neck go, let your head drop down. Breathe into the center of your lower back. Inhaling slowly, walk your hands back, press up to a C. Let's take one more fold, keeping those feet together, draw them in real close now. I'm gonna spin, give this other view. So the heels are right in by your pelvis. Soles of the feet still together. Interlace your fingers, grab the tops of your toes like that, and now wriggle on your butt. Bring the bones in there closer to the ground and tilt your pelvis forward. Let the lower spine drop down to the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Exhaling, hinge at the hips, fold forward with your spine long at first. And just see how far down you'll go with the spine long. Wherever it stops lowering, then let the head lower. And breathe into your hips. And maybe nudge your legs down and your hips open. If your elbows are pressing to the inside of the legs and your hips want to go further, you can help them out with that pressure. Inhaling, slowly sit up. Let your arms help your legs. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. It's like closing a book. Nudge your knees up towards each other. Rest your hands on the ground out past your hips. Wiggle your feet further apart. If you're using a mat, maybe to the edges of the mat is a good distance. You want to go a little farther than your shoulders. Let your knees go back and forth. To whatever degree they'll go, it's okay if they don't go down all the way. And maybe as your knees go down to one side, you turn your head to the other side. Make it a little twist. And maybe you do something, this is sort of like the movement we did in that flip dog. As the knees come down to one side, reach the opposite arm up and lift the hips. Okay, biting ants everywhere. There's a problem. Yeah. I put my hand on the ground and I immediately started getting devoured.
Yeah, there's
Pardon me, folks, online. No, ants. Yikes. Sorry. Keep going with your knees back and forth and with the ecstatic lifting of the hips if you want. Yeah. Too many of those, that's going to become a problematic histamine reaction. So there's something different for the YouTubes.
Oh, you need lemon, lime, and
Fire ant attack. Okay. Hopefully they won't find me again over here. That was some different kind of interesting. Plant your feet, knees up, bring your hands behind you, lower onto your forearms, and lower onto your back. Reach your hands towards your feet and your feet towards your hands. Press into the soles of your feet and inhale to lift your hips up towards the sky, bridge pose. If you want further opening in the heart region, you could wriggle your shoulder blades towards each other under you, clasp your hands beneath you, and reach your knuckles towards your heels. If you want. You don't have to do any of that if you don't want to. Make sure your neck's relaxed. Sometimes we scrunch up our neck here. That's wasting energy. That's not helping anything. I don't know why we do that. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them, exhale, slowly let your hips come down. And take a minute to explore bridge as you like, inhaling to go up and exhaling to go down. Find your own level of challenge. You can make it more challenging by going higher or going slower or taking extra breaths at the top. Maybe if you really enjoyed it, you repeat wriggling your shoulder blades in and clasping your hands and reaching your knuckles towards your heels. If you've got blocks and you want to be more passive or restful about it, you might lift up, slide a block under your sacrum, and come down to rest on top of your block and take a supported bridge. And if you want to explore a couple more breaths, and after you land on the last exhale, just pause on the ground for a couple breaths. Draw your knees in towards your chest, hug your knees, and explore rocking and rolling movements. Maybe you go in circles, maybe side to side, or front to back, or maybe more random, sort of drifting movement. Maybe you make circles with your knees, moving in opposite circles. Might feel nice in the hips. Feel nice in the knees. Maybe that feels nice in your arms. Knees in close, reach your arms out to the sides. Feel your shoulder blades press to the ground. Don't mind my arms hovering, so don't get bitten. You want your shoulders on the ground. And let your knees go over to the right and turn your head to the left. And as long as your shoulders are grounded, it doesn't matter how far your legs go. Sometimes they touch down, sometimes they don't. I'm deliberately keeping mine off the ground here because of our invaders. I guess I'm the invader because of the defenders. There are no ants, just bites.
You need to pinch your cheek.
She says I need to pinch my cheek.
Yeah, like this.
Like that?
No, with it.
Okay. We're having a little acupressure lesson thrown in. Come back to center.
Oh, look at the moon.
Reach your feet up. Reach your hands up. Grab your legs, your feet for a movement in happy baby pose. Bending and straightening those limbs as much or as little as you like. I was directed to look at the moon, but from where I'm sitting, it must be behind the tree.
Right above our head.
She says it's right above our heads, but I think this large tree then is between me and La Luna. If there's another inversion that you'd rather do, go for it. Maybe you want something more active or challenging and happy baby. And you can invert as long as you like. I recommend doing at least a minute, and it's really not all that long. Look at all the minutes of the day or the 60 minutes of the class. Just a minute or two in happy baby. When you feel complete with your inversion, whenever that is, you can make your way to your final resting pose, which might be corpse pose, classic posing, shavasana. Legs extended, feet splayed open, hands resting out past the hips, palms up or the pinky edge of your hands on the ground. But it is more important to be comfortable than it is to be in that specific shape. So if lying in corpse pose is not comfortable for you, get comfortable. If your lower back doesn't like how this feels, you can support your lower back by planting your feet. Maybe let your knees lean in towards each other to assure passive posture. Or you might bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees splay out. You might make that more passive by putting blocks under the outside of your legs because the weight of your legs. If you're not outside, you might bring your legs up over by the wall or a piece of furniture and rest your legs on the wall or the couch. Once you're in your comfortable resting pose, all you really need to do is breathe. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you picture the edges of your nostrils where the air is moving in and out. Nice, simple meditation, visualization. Maybe you come back to an intention you set at the start of the practice and reflect upon that. Maybe you just let your mind drift. As thoughts come, imagine them to be clouds drifting on the breeze. Any thought that comes will be there for a while. Any thought that comes is eventually going to move on. Maybe another one comes, or maybe the sky clears for a bit. Maybe you scan your body like we did at the beginning of practice. Head to toe. Maybe you picture yourself like you're hovering above yourself, looking down at that beautiful person at rest Picture that forehead of yours. Is there a wrinkle in the middle of your forehead like you're thinking about something? That's tension. Can you let that cloud, that thought drift away? Can you let that forehead unwrinkle? What's your jaw doing? Is your jaw clenched? Are your teeth together? Are your lips together? Or is a little space there? Sometimes we even engage our tongue. Is your tongue pressing to the roof of your mouth or the back of your teeth? Or is your tongue just hanging out on the floor of your mouth? Relax. Tongue is a muscle. Let it relax. Feel the weight of your shoulders. Feel where they're contacting the ground. Feel the contact of your back on the ground, how it changes as your breaths go in and out. The nice grounding contact at your sacrum. Your butt resting on the ground, all the hard work it did today with down dogs and flip dogs and three-legged dogs. Big muscles there, resting, resting. The weight of your legs, the weight of your feet, nicely grounded. Start to give yourself some deeper breath. Slowly start to move around. Take your time. Little movements at first. Let those little movements gradually grow bigger and bigger, leading to other movements. Whatever movements your body seems to want. Moving mindfully and gently. There's no rush. When you're ready, if you're ready, if you want, sit yourself up. You can always stay there, lying down, whatever resting pose you're in. Maybe your practice was a prelude to a nap. It's great nap preparation. Maybe you fell asleep in Shavasana. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for sharing this practice with us today. The light within me sees, honors, and bows to that same light within each of you. Namaste. Check us out online, on Facebook at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center, on the web at urbanyoga.org. Check out the rest of the schedule. Visit the digital tip jar mechanisms we got set up. You can contribute to support our Zoom classes. You can contribute via Zelle or PayPal or Venmo. And I'm here at this time, Monday and Thursday and Friday, and I do a gentle class from the studio Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific. And I love getting questions and feedback, and that's for the people here live with me, the people in real time online, scrambling to find the words, and the people watching on YouTube whenever that is. Feel free to drop comments there. Feedback helps me be a better teacher. Have a lovely day. I'm going to hit the pool.